Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia and I'm coming to you from Germany. Today is Saturday, the 2nd of February 2019, and I am so glad that you're joining me today. If you're watching for the very first time, a huge welcome to you, and if you're coming back, thank you so much for being a regular viewer or maybe even subscriber of the podcast. I really appreciate that. Today we have an episode full of knitting as usual. We have some prizes to give away, which I'll do in the beginning. I'll talk about the knit-alongs. Then I have an FO to show you, some works in progress. I have some spinning. Yes, you guys, I do spin every now and then. And then acquisitions and life in general. I have a feeling it's going to be a shorter one today, at least that's what I'm hoping, because the last ones have been really long, but we'll see how it goes. I actually am not drinking coffee right now. I have water in front of me, which I know what's going on with that, but I did have a lot of coffee before and I don't know, I wasn't feeling like coffee, which in itself might be a catastrophe, but anyways, this is not a coffee podcast. So we had a knit-along running in the group, which is the Happy Knitting Podcast group on Ravelry, and it will always be linked right underneath this video in case you're ever looking for it. And that was the Happy Sweater Along. So it was a garment knit-along, and you guys, it's been so fun. I've really enjoyed seeing all your progress, your finished objects. It's been a really inspiring thread, and I'm really impressed with how many finished objects we got in a not super long time frame. So that's really great. A couple of people have knit their first sweater now, which is incredibly exciting. I think there were also a few people who were joining in as their very first knit along, so congrats to everyone who participated, no matter if you won a prize or not. But we do have some prizes to give away, and I made 2 prize packages. The first one is a package of yarn. Mostly, this is a surprise skein of yarn by my lovely friend Melanie, who has the Braid and Tinker podcast and also Etsy shop. And because you may want to know what you're getting into, because the yarn is awesome, I'm just showing you instead the skein that she sent me. This came with a mini, which I have already put into my blanket, but Melanie's yarn is so fun. I really love it. I'm not sure, this may be the same, it may be different. If you're the winner, maybe you want to let me know, because I'm really curious, but I did not peek. I didn't look inside, I just thought it looked so nice as it is. So you're getting this skein of yarn, and what you're also getting is this really cute lavender pouch, which is from Ducky Darlings. She also sells yarn, we had some prizes from her in the past, so I just thought this would be a really nice package to go together. And all prizes were drawn using random number generator, in case you're interested. So I try to keep it really fair, and the random number generator drew number 25, and that is the knitting sloth, who is Michelle. And we've been talking before. She's been helping me with my wedding worries a little bit, so that's really nice. I'm not sure, have you won a prize before, or am I imagining things? Anyways, Michelle, congrats. Send me your address via Ravelry, please, or maybe Instagram, and I will get that out to you. And of course, thank you to the people who donated these prizes. The second prize will be this bag from Cat in the Bag Crafts. I talked about their bags last week, and now I've just been dropping stuff. So this is a really cool project bag, which has sort of like an extra thing that you can pull out, so you can put all your knitting things in here, which I think is a really smart idea. And you will also be getting the very last of these pins that I have. These are the Fiber and Brimstone yarn pins. This is of course a teal one and a matching sticker. So this prize is going to number 11, who is Schnablarina, and that is Jule, and she's also from Germany. So 2 German winners today, random number generator chose. Again, please get in touch via Ravelry. I think you also have won a prize before, but maybe I'm just going insane. So both of you, please send me your address and full name, and I will get those prizes out as well. So thanks to everyone who participated, and yeah, we still have the Happy Handspun Along going. To be honest, I started off really well by knitting, I think, 3 handspun hats, and then I've kind of dropped my handspun game, but I'm there in spirit, and that still runs until the end of February, so there is still plenty of time to jump in, and also the thread has been really, really inspiring. So those are the prizes. I'm just going to get them out of the way, and then we will record the rest of the episode. All right. Before we jump into finished objects, very quickly I wanted to mention what I'm wearing, which is of course my No Frills sweater by Petite Knit. As you can see, it's a really nice sort of fluffy sweater. It's usually knit using a strand of mohair held double with another yarn, but I just used a single strand of a French yarn from La Droguerie called La Caresse. And yeah, I wear this all the time. I have started wearing it with like a long sleeve t-shirt underneath because this is really light and it can just go on top, and I really, really still like it. So that's what I'm wearing, and in terms of finished objects, I only have one finished object today, but I am very happy to have this done, and this is my finished wedding shawl. So I'm getting married in less than 8 weeks, which, you guys, that is insane. And I have finished the shawl. I'll show it to you in all its glory. I think it turned out really, really well. I hope you can see how drapey it is. It is really, really beautiful. Yeah, I am just really happy with it. The pattern that I used is the Shea Lin pattern by Leila Rabe, or Laila Rabe, I'm not quite sure. And this is my 3rd time knitting it. I'm not sure what weight it is written for, but you can really adapt it and use any sort of yarn you want with this, because you can just knit as many or few repeats of it as you like, and the pattern itself is really, really simple. Like I said, I'm knitting this for the 3rd time, and for the 3rd time I made the same modification, which is you always change between like stockinette and lace sections. And because I didn't want the edges to roll, I did the last section in garter stitch. So I still did the lace repeat, but I just knit all the wrong side rows as well, and that gives it a really nice edging. I've done that for the other ones that I've knit as well. So that's my only modification, and I love it. I haven't even tried it on. I kind of want to keep it special for the wedding, so it's gonna go away, and then I will wear it with my dress. The yarns I used for these, I used 2 yarns held together. The first one is this is Hedgerow Yarns Alpaca Silk Lace yarn, and it's called Mist, but it's also a one-of-a-kind colorway, so it's the super, super light lilac color. And I held it together with this yarn, which is a silk mohair lace yarn, and this I bought in Norway. It's from Pickles, and I don't know the colorway, I'm very sorry, but I used almost 2 skeins of this. I have like 5 grams left, and I have quite a bit of this yarn left as well. So very happy to have that done. I knit that on 3.5, no I didn't, I knit it on 4mm needles, and yes, very, very happy about that. Also, I'm getting really warm today. I don't know why. I mean, I'm wearing a knit sweater, you could say, but I do that all the time, and I'm never warm. Anyways, that is my only finished object. And so now we'll go into some works in progress, and I'm really, really proud because I've really hunkered down and made some progress on stuff. So where should we start? Let's start with my proudest make. So last week I didn't even show you my Love You Baby wrap because I hadn't done any work on it, and I've done so much knitting on that, you guys. So the pattern is called the Love You Baby shawl or wrap, and U is spelled E-W-E. And what you do is it's a 3 skein project, and I'm going to show it to you in a second, but it's really hard to show you, so I wanted to talk about it first. What you do is you knit sort of like a brioche triangle shawl, which goes on forever, you guys, forever, and then you attach some short rows on one side, and then you kind of pick up all the stitches. So it's a really, really interesting construction, and if you're interested, do check out the pattern page. It's by Susanne Sommer, who is Sosu Knits. And I was stranded on the Brioche Island for so long, you guys. It just never ended. Seriously, it's a really fun pattern, but you have to be really committed and loving brioche, because the brioche part it's just not even funny how long it goes on for, seriously. And I'm a relatively fast knitter. But I just hunkered down and thought, I will never finish this if I don't just get through the brioche. And so I did. And then all the fun stuff came, like picking up stitches and joining it all together, and that's really fun. So now I'm almost finished. So let's try to show it to you, but like I said, it's incredibly hard to show. So what you can see here, all the brioche is the first part. And then I picked up stitches for the second part, which is a sort of garter stitch short row part, to then pick up all the stitches again and knit this moss stitch or seed stitch part. And now I'm on the very, very last section, which is another sort of brioche part, which is going to be the brioche edging. So I really don't know how to show you this beast. I love it. I don't know if I'll ever knit it again, but I do really, really love it. But this is where we are right now. It's a lot of stitches. Sorry for the clanging needles, but this is where we are. I think it's looking amazing, and I can't wait to have this done. Quite honestly, I'm not sure if I'm going to do as much of the brioche edging as I have to. I'm just gonna keep going and see how it goes. I do really like it though. I'm really enjoying this brioche part again, so maybe I'll knit it as long as it has to be, but essentially I can just bind off whenever as well. So we'll see how it goes. I still have plenty of yarn left, I think. And then the last step, after you've done all these things, is you're supposed to do a giant I-cord edging around the entire shawl, which again, is gonna take forever. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to do the I-cord edging at the bottom, like I-cord bind off, and then I'll see if it really needs an I-cord edging. Because I think like brioche edgings can sometimes be a little bit rough, but I think mine actually looks quite nice. It's got quite a nice sort of stretch to it. So I haven't really decided yet if I'm going to be doing the brioche edge or not. It would look really nice. It would make it really nice, but you have to be careful as well with brioche, because if it's too tight, then the entire shawl will be constricted. So it's going to be a lot of dedication. Not sure if I'm going to do that, but anyways, I am so happy with this. And like I said, the parts after the first section have been really fun to knit. I'm using 3 yarns for this. The first one, this is a Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn. This was a club colorway from way back called XOXO. The white is a really special Madeline Tosh Merino light skein. I picked this up about, I think, 2 Christmases ago. This is in the Yoko colorway, presumably after Yoko Ono. And the third one is from Das Mondschaf in the Moria or Moria colorway. I'm not sure what that refers to, but these are the 3 colors that we're using. And I'm sorry, I'm struggling with the camera because I've had a software update and everything works a little bit different now. But these are the 3 colors, and I picked this up just because after all these sort of more woolly, rustic, Norwegian or Scandinavian style stranded color work knitting, I had been craving some crazy colors, and this has exactly been that. I'm also happy to get some special yarn out of stash, and yeah, very happy to finish this very soon because I really actually need another big shawl, so this will be really, really handy. And we're going away next week, or in a week, and I think I should have this finished, and if I do, I'll have a great shawl to wear on a holiday. So that's where we are with that. Kind of hard to maneuver now because it's way too big for its little project bag, but there we are. Next up, I'm still working on my stripy socks. You've seen the first one last week. This is some yarn from Nicole C. Mendes, who is a German self-striping yarn dyer. This is in her Haunted House colorway, and this is how far I've gotten on the second sock, which is so sad. And you want to know why I haven't gotten very much progress? because these tiny needles are super slow. I've been working on this a ton. Like, this has been my work sock, which I've been using when, I'm on the phone and not on a video conference, and I'll just knit a couple of stitches every now and then. But I don't know, I've been really noticing how much I miss Magic Loop, so I think I'm not going to be a 9-inch sock, a circular knitter anytime soon. I do like it, but I don't love it. I miss the speed that you usually get from sock knitting. But this is where we are with that. Still working on these, and these will be for Kai, so I'm doing 68 stitches on a US size 1 2.25 millimeter needle. And because I really was noticing how much I was missing just stockinette socks knit on Magic Loop the other day, I decided to just cast some on. And I cast on a yarn that I've been wanting to cast on for a while. This is a really special yarn. I got this at the yarn festival called Hohenloher Wollfest, which is here in Germany, very close to where I actually grew up last year. And this is my very first time knitting with a yak sock base. So it's a 70% merino superwash, 20% yak, and 10% polyamide base. And the yarn dyer is this one, although she doesn't seem to be have any sort of online presence. I think she mostly sells just on marketplaces and maybe on Facebook. So I'm very sorry to show you something that's probably going to be very hard, if not impossible, to get a hold of. But this yarn festival is coming up again at the end of April. So I wanted to see if I like it in case I do end up going and I may or may not want to get some more. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be going because it is 2 weeks after our honeymoon and it's going to be a lot of stuff happening before that. So I'm not really sure if I want to dedicate myself to another yarn festival, but I may go spontaneously or I may not, we'll see. Anyways, this is the yak sock yarn and I just have been so curious, so I cast on a plain stockinette sock, and you guys, this is amazing. Let's focus it. So you can see it's got a really nice twist structure to it. This is actually, it's a sock weight or 4-ply weight yarn, but it's actually a 3-ply construction. And I think it looks really pretty. I'm not sure if it's showing up on camera, but the base itself is really nice and it is so soft. It is very soft and it also has a sheen and like a bit of like almost like a silk yarn where it just shines a little bit and it's just beautiful. It's knitting up really, really nicely. I'm very, very curious to how this will wear. I'm not sure if my feet are going to destroy the sock or if it's going to hold up. I don't think it's going to hold up super well, but who knows, because this base, it is so lovely. I'm really enjoying it. I also really am enjoying the microstriping. So it's a brown and a pink yarn, but it's just not pooling at all. It's just microstriping. And yeah, this has been a joy to knit. I just knit this in like one night. And I think I'm about ready to do a heel, so yeah. Stockinette sock on Magic Loop finally again. 64 stitches on a US size 1 2.25 millimeter needle. So that is my yak sock project. And what's left is 2 garments that I'm working on. I'm not going to show you the dark water sweater today because I haven't picked it up. But I have been knitting a lot on my sweater or my cardigan out of my Plötulopi yarn. So this is another one of those cat in the bag crafts bags, and look how full it is. I love it. This is, like I said, perfect for me. And in here, I have to be careful, I'm going to break the yarn again. In here I have 4 skeins of these yarns. This is the yarn that I'm using. It is Plötulopi, which is the unspun roving yarn that is made to that is actually used to make Lättlopi yarn as well. So this is just roving, and I talked about it in detail last week, so I'm not going to go into it today. But I am knitting the oh my god. I'm knitting the Harvest cardigan by Tin Can Knits. I'm not sure if it's a free pattern. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I knitted before, which is why I haven't checked. But it is a top-down sort of DK weight cardigan pattern which I really, really liked. Again, I talked about it a lot last week, so I'm not going to go into too much detail today, but this is where we're at. So last week I was still working on my first color. I think I had separated for the sleeves. Maybe I hadn't. I'm not quite sure. But this is where the stitch marker is where I was last week. So I finished the first color, or I knit as long as I wanted it to be, and have now started my second color block, which is this more sort of brownish gray, and I am about halfway down the body now. It's hard to show you, especially because it's very crinkly, but I've just really been enjoying this. So this is going to be a super long cardigan. I'm going to make it long and oversized, and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to have this done. I did try it on and it's fitting really, really well. Like I said, I'm going for an oversized look. I did make a buttonhole, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to attach buttons. I would like to wear it just as an open front cardigan. So this is where we are with that. Sorry, I feel like I'm not giving a very good presentation, but oh well. So this is where we are. I'm doing color blocks. I'm not using very much yarn at all. I still have plenty of yarn left. I think half a skein of the gray. And I feel like I'm almost ready here I want to start the next color. So this is a lot of yarn left from the second color as well. But I do want to join my third and fourth color, which are going to be this pink and this purple. And I think it's going to make the sweater really, really nice. So this has just been really fun to work on. It's a lot of purling. That's the only downside, but I am really enjoying it, and it's just been a really sort of peaceful project to knit on, which still gives you quite a bit of progress, whereas my super light fingering dark water sweater is just you working a couple of rounds and it feels so long and you're not really seeing any progress. So that's why I've kind of been preferring this. But yeah, that is it in terms of my knitting projects. So now I will quickly show you what I've been spinning up. It feels so weird to not be drinking coffee on the podcast. I know what's the first thing that I'm going to do once I'm finished with podcasting. Anyhow, I've been spinning up this one bobbin of yarn for about 3 months, you guys. Before you ask, I have a Bliss spinning wheel. It's a Bliss single treadle wheel from the Woolmakers, which is like the best wheel ever. I just love it so much. And for the first time, I have spun up some Cheviot. So I got a braid of 125 grams of Cheviot yarn fiber from Das Mondschaf again. So that's Sabrina, who is in Germany. I don't know the colorway name. I'm sorry, I'm not even sure if it had one. But it was these like total mustard colors. It's kind of showing up more orange than it really is. But I spun it into pretty fine singles because I just felt like the Cheviot wanted to be fine. It just wanted to be spun really finely. And I think now, I really enjoyed spinning it, to be honest. I feel like if I ever do a sweater spin, I would like to do a Cheviot sweater spin. It feels like a really, really nice fiber. So I've spun it up into singles, and as you can hopefully tell, it's now plied. I did a 3-ply in a chain ply method. I haven't taken off the bobbin yet, so I don't know anything about the yardage that I'm going to get, but I'm thinking it should be a fingering weight, maybe a sport weight. Like I said, I didn't really go for a super light fiber, but it just kind of ended up going that way. Because I spun this over such a long time, I did notice when plying that I didn't spin it super consistently. So there are some thicker bits in here, but all in all, I do really like it, and I think it's going to be a nice project. I have all these things that I'm debating whether I want to set myself like really big goals, or whether that kind of is just going to put too much pressure on myself. Because, for example, I kind of want to do a sweater spin this year. I would really like to spin for a sweater, but then I barely spin. And so I don't know why now, when I finish like a braid of fiber every 2 or 3 months, because my priorities just are in knitting, why would I put that pressure on myself? Because I'm most likely not going to enjoy spinning like 400 grams of the same yarn. I'm not sure, But I do really like this, and I would really like a handspun sweater. Other goals that I'm thinking about setting myself, which is insane, is I want to achieve a 10-kilometer run this year. I did 6 last year. Don't know why am I putting this pressure on myself. But these are just ideas that are floating around in the back of my head. But anyways, this is what I've been spinning. I'm going to scan it up eventually and measure the yardage, and then hopefully show it to you again after it's been washed and finished and all that. So with that, let's move on to acquisitions. Oh no, I now remember what I was going to look up before showing it to you. So I'm going to take a break and look up the Etsy shop that I'm going to be talking about in a second. Alright, so a couple of weeks back, I was browsing Etsy as you do, and I found a new to me yarn company, or a new to me Etsy store called Yarn Stories. And behind Yarn Stories is a dyer or a maker called Kate, and she is based in Lithuania. So why I wanted to look this up is because this yarn has, I assume, Lithuanian labels, and I also know that I think there are a couple of yarn stores in the US also called Yarn Stories, as well as that there is a German yarn brand called Garn Stories. So I just wanted to make that clear, and I may try to link it underneath this video. But what they had in this Etsy store is very, very, very affordable Fair Isle yarn. They sell a lot of linen, they sell a lot of cotton, which I wasn't interested in, but they had this Fair Isle yarn, which is 100% wool yarn. It's super woolly, and they was kind of selling it as well as single balls, as well as in sort of Fair Isle sets. And I sat in front of like a million colors for ages and couldn't decide what I wanted. So I ended up just getting a set of 8 colors, and I'm very, very excited about this. So this is the yarn. I'm going to show you the label because I can't read any of it. But this is what the label says. It says pure wool yarn on the back. And each of these balls is 100 grams and 350 meters of pure wool yarn. So I'm assuming Texarena may be the brand. But as you can see, it's just a really nice, I think it's a 2-ply yarn. It's super sort of woolly, it's toothy. Some may find it itchy. It's not super itchy to me. I think it's like a nice yarn, but it's definitely one of those wool yarns, maybe similar to Jamieson & Smith, Holzgarn, this kind of yarn. And yeah, I think this is going to be really nice once it's washed. This was really just a lucky shot because I love ordering yarn from foreign countries and just to try what they have. And like I said, I think each of these balls is like 3 or 4 euros, so it's way too cheap, really, if you're talking about that. So I got a set, and this was kind of a personal challenge to myself. I got a set which is called the Brown Yarn Set for Fair Isle yarn knitting, something like that. And it came with 8 balls of yarn because, like I said, I just couldn't pick. So I can't show them to you all at once, but they're all kind of like, these are the lightest shades. They're also like in the mustardy brown, orange, almost reddish brown sort of range. And then there are 4 more. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to show them all to you at once, but you kind of get the idea of the color palette. It's all sort of yeah, there you go, almost. You can see 7 out of 8 skeins, so I think that's okay. But anyways, this is the yarn that I got. And you know what this is going to force me to do? This is going to force me to knit a all over Fair Isle sweater, which again, this is one thing I've been wanting to do for ages. I want to do a full-on colorwork sweater that's just full-on colorwork. And really with this yarn, it is cheap. So there's no worrying about ruining the yarn. Like, this is the perfect excuse for me to just, at some point, maybe on a holiday, but probably later this year, just lock myself in a room with all this yarn, all these colors, pick a pattern, make up a pattern, I don't know, but make a full-on colorwork sweater that I'm going to steek, and it's going to be epic, I think. I think it's going to be really amazing. And I actually have a pattern in my queue. I don't remember the name or anything about it, but I know there are a couple of all over colorwork sweaters that I've been looking at. But then most of the time, you don't want to buy all the yarn for them. It's more like for leftovers from colorwork. And so it just never happened. But now I have the perfect excuse. This is about a sport weight yarn, and I think you can knit it at a lot of different gauges. So this is going to be another one of these really big projects, like spinning for a sweater or running 10K, that I'd really like to get into. I'm not sure if the color palette is really my color palette, but it could be really nice. Who knows? So I think I'm just going to go for it at some point. And I really also want to just test out this yarn. So I made sheet and just cast on some fingerless mitts or something with some of this yarn before, because again, I have 800 grams. Like, I'm not going to need all of this. So we'll see. I'm really excited about this, and I'm actually really excited to try it as well. But that's always my problem, because I buy all the yarn because I really want to try all the yarn, but then obviously knitting it up takes longer than buying it. So yeah, that is my acquisition for the week. It shipped from Lithuania relatively quickly. I think it took about 2 weeks, which I think is fair enough. I expected it to take a while. And what I also got, which is really nice, they sell these shade cards, but they just gave one to me for free. And there are a lot of colors on here. I think all the colors are of this range are on here, so you can kind of get an idea of how many you have to pick from, which is what was doing my head in for sure. Like, I just couldn't pick colors on a screen. And what's also really nice is I think these have been washed, and these have fluffed up really, really nicely. So let's see if I can show this to you. This is what it looks like on the shade card compared to in the skein. So I think this is like all the sort of super soft yarns, like JC Rennie or Holzgarn or Garnet Silk. I think this is going to be a really, really nice yarn once it's blocked. And I mean, just look at these colors. Aren't they beautiful? This just makes me want to go buy them immediately. Like, these are just really stunning. So yeah, that's been my yarn indulgence for the week. And once again, when I talk about these things for very long, it's just because I'm fascinated. I'm not being sponsored or paid or anything. I bought these with my own money. Yeah, so now I'm covered in yarn. Having withdrawal symptoms from coffee, and I think I'm done with everything yarn related. So if that's it for you this week, thank you so much for watching. And if you do want to stick around to listen to me ramble on about nothing, feel free to do so as well. Maybe first up, an announcement that next weekend and the following couple of days we will be away. So I don't think there will be a podcast next week. I will most likely be back in 2 weeks unless something changes, but most likely, like I said, it's going to be 1 week of a break in between, but I think that's fine. The reason for that is that we are just working as usual the next week, and then on Friday night we're going to go down to Allgäu near the Alps and stay there until the following Wednesday. I'm really, really excited about that. I've been really looking forward to that. We went to that little cabin over New Year's Eve, so it hasn't really been that long. But I did kind of get sick when I was there, so I always felt like I was missing out, and I'm really happy to be going back for a couple of days and just be able to breathe, relax a little bit, do a little bit of wedding planning without work be happening at the same time. That'll just be really, really nice. And again, I'm planning to take all the yarn and do some knitting. When I ordered all this yarn, I thought I would take it, but right now I feel like I have so much other stuff on the needles, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I want to get stuff done before the wedding, and I'm not sure if starting another huge Fair project is the best idea, but who knows. I'm definitely going to be casting on something. So yeah, that'll be happening. Besides that, what's been happening, it's basically more of the same. We've both been working a lot. I've been knitting a lot, as I always do. We are finally getting things done with the wedding, so it feels like everything is really complicated, but we are making headway. Things are happening. I had my first wedding dress try on this week. So obviously I bought it, and then they ordered it, and now it has arrived, and I had a seamstress appointment, and thank goodness it fit, mostly because I was really worried. I bought this dress in August, and I don't really care about my weight. I don't really check it, or but I was really hoping that I would fit into this dress, and thank goodness I did. So now I just need to stay the same for 2 weeks, 2 months, and then that'll be it. So that was really good. I was getting quite nervous about that just before trying it on, but it's all good, and thankfully I still like the dress as well. So that's it on the wedding front, and quite honestly, I don't think I have anything super exciting to tell you guys. One stupid thing that I did is I actually, for my wedding shawl, I ordered another set of needles with a longer cable or cord, because obviously mine was really short. And what I did end up doing is I actually ordered the exact same length again. So now I have two 4mm needles that are too short. But I was actually really proud of myself for returning it, trying to return it, and then Amazon just said, keep it. Don't need to send it back, presumably because it's just not worth it for them. So yeah, that was really dumb. But that again just shows how stressed I am, and oh well. Yeah, I am just rambling on about nothing. So instead of rambling, I'm just going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching this podcast. I hope to still see you over on the Ravelry group on Instagram. If you're one of the winners, please get in touch with your address. And until I see you again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great week and happy knitting. Bye!